Hi there. Hey everybody, it's Candy from Honey Girl Home Creations. Welcome. I'm glad you're here today. I thought I would come on and do kind of a short video to show you kind of how to make a bow today. So this may be something you've seen other places, but if not, then it could be helpful. So let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to use today, and then I'll move the camera down so you can see. So I have got 4 different kinds of ribbon. I'll show you what I've got. So I have a kind of a khaki check, and I've got this beautiful blue ribbon that is law enforcement appreciation. It's got different things on here like police, enforcer, protect and serve, hero, proud, peacemakers. I'm going to use that. I also have this kind of khaki color, or well, I can't think of the word. Anyway, with blue stars. And finally, I have this black and blue striped ribbon. So these two are the stars and the stripes. They are both 1.5 inch ribbons. And then the blue law enforcement, police, hero, and the khaki checked one, they are both 2.5 inch ribbons. So alright, we're going to use those. We are also going to use some floral wire. This is 26 gauge, which is a little bit thinner. You may know by now, the larger the number when you're dealing with wire, floral wire and that kind of thing, the larger the number, the smaller the wire. So 26 gauge, for example, is smaller than 22 gauge, which I have some of, but anyway, it's the same kind of thing, but 26 gauge is thinner. So we're going to use some of that. I'm going to use some wire cutters, and I'm going to use some scissors. And then finally, to make our bow today, we're going to use a Bowdabra. Makes it a whole lot easier. Part of it we may have to do by hand, and I'll kind of show you that, but the primary bow maker, it's a great little simple bow maker, and it's a great holder. It kind of does that too, so we're going to use it. So I'm going to move the camera down and we'll get started. And before we get started, I would ask each of you, if you would, to like this video and also to share it. That would really help me if you would share it. So give me a thumbs up and share the video on your social media with your friends and family. And then also, finally, if you kind of like what you see, or if you want to be, want to know about, when I do more videos, then hit that subscribe button. I would really, really appreciate that. All right, so here we go. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to take my wire, and sometimes I forget to do this first, so I will tell you, it's not the end of the world if you do, but it's a lot easier if you do it first. So I'm going to cut a piece that's quite a bit longer than I need. This one's about 26 inches. I'm going to cut it. Just put that over there out of the way. So I take it, and I'm going to double it. I'm going to fold it in half. Put the ends together. So on this end I have two cut ends, and then over here I have a loop, if you can see that. Hopefully you can. Yep. I'm going to take it and put it down in my bow maker, down in my Bowdabra in the middle. You can see just in this little part. And then just to keep them out of the way, I'm going to tuck the ends under the bottom. Alright, there we go. So to start our bow today, I think I'm going to start with this burlap or khaki color stripe. I'm going to make that one be on the bottom. So my pen over here. Alright, so I'm going to unroll quite a bit of it. And we're going to start, I think I'm going to do about a 12-inch tail. I would rather do it a little bit longer, because then at least you can trim it off if you need to. So at 12 inches, I'm going to kind of scrunch it up, put it down in the bow maker. See how that has that tail down there? I'm just going to bring that tail down toward me. You don't have to do this, I just do it sometimes. Kind of gets it out of the way. And because our ribbon has a good side, you can see a good side and a not so good side, we are going to, you start it out with the good side facing up so that your tail is like it needs to be. But at the point where you put it in the bow maker, you twist it. And that brings your ugly side up, but when you loop it over, then your pretty side will be there. So we are going to make about 6-inch loops, I think. So I'm going to measure out 12 inches. So I'll go about right here. Bring that down, and you can also just kind of take it and measure it on your board if you're using a board. If you don't want to measure, don't worry about it. Whatever you use to measure, be it, you know, a yardstick, a ruler, a mat. This mat is great. It's one of these self-healing mats where you can cut mesh on it. You can cut whatever you want to on it, and it's wonderful. And it also has measurements on it going both directions. This one is 24 by 36, so it gives quite a bit of room to measure. Whatever you're using to measure, just make sure that your loops are about the same. Sometimes I use my hand to do. This one is about 6 inches. Wonderful. So now we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to twist it to get that ugly side where it's facing up. And then we're going to loop it over about 6 inches again. Let's see if I've got it about where it needs to be. A little bit too big, so bring it in a little bit. Yep. Okay. You can also, if you want to, bring them both up. Just hold them down, bring them up, and compare them. This one's still a little bit bigger than it needs to be, so let's move it. Compare it again. There you go, that's pretty good. Okay, so this one I think I'm gonna do probably 2 loops on each side of this pattern. So I'm gonna continue, do the same thing again, right here in the, where you've put it down into the Bowdabra, twist it. And this time, you don't necessarily have to measure, you can just use your other loop as a measurement. Bring it over, lay it down there, looks like it's good. It's faster if you don't have to measure, and after a while, you get to where you can kind of eyeball it, I think, and know, you know, the measurements. So now I've got 2 loops on each side. I'm gonna cut this one. There we go, cut that tail, pretty close to what the other tail was, something similar. And now, just to help when it comes time to fluff our bow, I'm gonna go ahead and just pull these loops down. 1 loop up, 1 loop down, and I put the tail kind of in the middle. Same thing over here, 1 loop up, the top loop down, and then the tail kind of going out in the middle for this one. And you know, we'll move them around continually. I do that. You'll fluff and move and everything, but it kind of helps a little bit when it comes to when it comes time to fluff your bow. So, all right, next I think I'm gonna do this pretty blue and black ribbon. So this is one of those, it kind of has an up, has words on it. When there are words on ribbon, it makes it difficult to do it in a bow maker. So you kind of want to do those by hand. So I'm going to show you how to do this one by hand. I'm going to measure out about 12 inches again for a tail. I'm going to scrunch it up, and I'm just going to put it between my thumb and my forefinger. See where the tail is? So you can see. Okay. And then I want to do 6-inch loops again. So I'm going to measure out 12 inches and bring that around, put it between my thumb and forefinger, and I'm going to scrunch it up in there and then just straighten it up. See? Now, instead of twisting, because it has words, if we twisted, it would make the words be upside down. So instead of that, we took that one over. This one we're gonna over to the bottom. This one we're gonna do bottom up to the top. So I'm gonna measure it out again at 12 inches. Bring that up to my hand, between my thumb and forefinger, scrunch it up in there again. So you see we kind of have our little bow tie. Now, this is another, you can measure to make sure. This one's a little bit smaller, so make it just a little bit bigger. Pull it, make it just a little bit bigger. That's pretty even right there. All right, so I'm gonna do this one again, I think with the 4 loops, 2 loops on each side. So we're gonna do the very same thing again. And here again, I don't necessarily have to measure. I can use this loop as my measurement. So instead of twisting, I'm gonna bring it over the top, put it in there, scrunch it, all right? Compare the 2 of them. It's a little bit too big, so let's bring it down just a little bit. Okay, good. And then our last loop, I'm gonna do the same thing. See how the wrong side is up, so we're gonna bring it over. put it between my thumb and forefinger and scrunch it. Okay, and compare it to that one. They are pretty close. So I'm going to cut off my tail, stretch it out here about 12 inches, just like I did the first one. Move this back here. And I will tell you, you can do, this is how you do a hand bow. I mean, you can do an entire bow this way if you want to. I'm doing this one because it keeps our words right side up. So, now that I've got it together, I'm going to take it and put it down in the bow maker, just at the spot where I've had it scrunched. I'm going to put that right down in the middle. Okay, push it down there good. Do the same things. I'm going to spread those bows, spread the loops, excuse me. Spread the loops and the tail. I think we might put that tail up there. Put that tail up there, and this tail down here, and then spread those loops a little bit. Okay? Make sure you scrunch it down there good. Alright, so that's what we've got so far. So far we've got our 2 ribbons in. This is the exact same process that you will follow if you're using 1 ribbon to make a bow, or if you're using 6. You know, it's the same either way. So I think next we will alternate and we will put this stars in. So I'm going to do the same sort of thing. I'm going to measure out, this one I think I'll measure about 10. Put it down in the Bowdabra so you can see how everything's in there, and you can kind of see a little bit from the side how everything is too. Put it down in there, and here again, because our ribbon has a wrong side and a right side, we're going to twist it. This one I'm going to bring in just a little bit shorter, so not 6 inches. I'm going to do maybe 5.5. 5 to 5.5. Yeah, we'll do about 5. About 5. Same thing, twist it. 5 inches. Twist it. 5 inches. Twist it. And as you're going, make sure you're pushing it down in there good, and also make sure your other loops are not kind of getting out of kilter as you're doing it. So just kind of continually keep an eye on them. Let's make this one a little, bring it out a little bit more. There we go. So we got our tail, we've got all that. I think we might do one more. This one's really pretty, so I think we'll do another loop on each side of it. Same thing, 5 inches, and then twist it. And our last one, about 5 inches. All right, good deal. So I'm going to come out, cut my tail, probably a little bit longer than I needed, but that's okay. The whole time, make sure you're keeping it squished down in there in the middle, so you can kind of see. Okay. All right, we've got one more to do. Let's spread these loops out just a little bit like we did before. You're going to fluff this bow. You know, this is not the only time for sure. It's just a little bit, it just helps a little bit. Or I feel like it does anyway. All right. And we'll move our tails and the loops around and everything, so that's fine. Final one. All right. Gonna measure him out about 10 inches. Put him down in there. And this one I think we'll do maybe 4.5 inch loops. So unfortunately I have another roll of this. The reason that you do the smaller loops as you come closer, that will, if you do that, that will make your bow kind of stand up more at the top. You can do them all the same length and it'll just be a big old loopy bow, and that's perfectly fine too. It kind of depends on the look that you're going for. So place it down in there, twist, do a little bit shorter. I'm not even going to measure it. I'm just going to kind of eyeball compared to those other ones, and twist. Same thing here. All right. And there's our tail coming down there. So let's see here. That's pretty good. Okay. We may just leave it like that, quite honestly. All right. So here we are at the end. We've got tails, we've got loops everywhere. All right. Yeah, I think we'll be good with this one. Yep, I think so. All right, so all we do now you got all your loops in there, you're going to bring up your wire. So this is the end that has the 2 cut ends, and then this side has the loop. So you gently bring them up a little bit. We're not pulling it all the way out of the bow maker, and you kind of use your thumb to hold it down in there. So we're going to open up this loop and slide this end with the 2 cut ends through it. I said it was. There we go. Okay, so can you see what I've done? And the whole time I'm using my finger or your thumb or something to kind of hold that bow down in the Bowdabra. Okay, as we bring it up, now we've got it out of the Bowdabra, and we have this, we just made a loop around it. If you can kind of see how that is. I'm going to tighten that up. So see, we've got quite a bit of ribbon in there. It's kind of thick, so tighten it up. Okay, here's the top. I'm going to take these ends, I'm going to bring one end around one side to the back and the other end around the other side to the back. So I've got both my wires. Now they're at the bottom, the back of the bow. So I'm going to twist them. So I'm holding them together, and I kind of twist my bow. I find that that will get a little bit tighter and helps a little bit more than twisting the wire. That's just me. So, all right. So you see, we've got our wire twisted. It's quite a long piece. That'd probably be enough to attach to a wreath without any problems. All right. So we're done. Except now we're ready to fluff our bow. So I start at the bottom with one color. I do each side. Take it, kind of twist it. It'll make it come loose. I'll do that one down there. Put the tail so you can see our first color. So you've got to make sure, this is why you want to make sure you have your wire in there pretty good, because you're going to take it and you're not, terribly gentle with it. So you don't necessarily have to manhandle it, but you do have to, kind of be kind of firm. So you don't want it to come out if you can help it. So I'm going to do the same thing over here, and then I just go up to the next one. Put your fingers in there, fluff it out, bring it around, get your tail, move it wherever you want it to be. Once you get it on whatever you're putting it on, chances are you'll move things around again, but for now, we're going to fluff it. We're fluffing it, making it pretty. All right, same thing, moving on to the next one. So I've got my fingers kind of held here where the crease is right now. Once you get it on your bow, on your wreath or your door or wherever you're going to put it, mailbox, whatever, then you'll fasten it, and then you'll fluff again without your fingers being in there, so you can kind of do it a little bit better. But for now, it's done pretty good. All right, last one. Put that so down here. Okay, and there we have it. I think that turned out pretty well. So with this one, you're going to want to pay attention when you put it on your wreath or whatever you put it on, to make sure your words are facing the way you want them to be. So there we go. All right, the last thing we're going to do is take our ribbon. For the slimmer ones, the 1.5 inch, sometimes I'll just cut it on an angle, because you may want to, once you get it on the wreath, you can roll it up and it almost looks like another loop. So you just cut those on an angle. Sometimes I do. There we go. It's like another loop. Same thing here. And then if you want to have it curled, you can, or you can just have it out, and it's pretty either way. Just cut it on a diagonal. Now, the larger ones I will take and I will dovetail. So to dovetail, you fold the bad ends together. So over here I have the edge of the ribbon, and this is wired ribbon, by the way, and over here this is the outer edges of the ribbon, and this is the fold. You always start at the fold and cut up, and then you get a pretty chevron. See how that looks? Let's do it again. You don't have to do it. You can do this one, your wider ones diagonal. You can cut them straight across. It's totally up to you. It's personal preference. I think they look nice if you do something to them. It just helps them be a little bit more finished. So, and then once you get them on your wreath, if you're going to put it on a wreath, you may decide you want your tails to be shorter so you can trim them. But for now, this is what we're going to do. It could be that you just make bows just for yourself, or maybe you just sell bows, and then your customers can always trim the tails however long they need them to be, I guess. So, all right, there we go. There's our wreath. All right, that's it for right now. Again, this is Candy with Honey Girl Home Creations. Please like this video, share it, and if you would subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. It will help me grow my YouTube channel and grow my online presence. I'm so glad you're here. I know that there are a lot of things that you could be doing with your time other than watching me, and I appreciate that you're here watching me. I'll see you next time.